The Parrot's Training, a short story written by Rabindranath Tagore. Namaste everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will explore one of Rabindranath Tagore's most powerful short stories, The Parrot's Training. At first glance, it seems like a simple fable about a parrot and the king, but as we go deeper and deeper, we realize it is a sharp criticism of the rigid education system, especially the kind that kills creativity and replaces it with rote learning. Tagore, as we know, was not only a poet and a philosopher, but also a passionate educationist. He founded Shantiniketan, a school based on freedom, creativity, and learning in harmony with nature. This story, written in his later years, reflects his frustration with the colonial model of education, where learning became mechanical, lifeless, and devoid of joy. So let us begin the story. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a king, a man surrounded by luxury, flattery, and endless advisors. His courtiers praised every word he spoke. His ministers ran around to fulfill every order, and the palace shone brighter than gold. One day, someone whispered in the king's ear, "Your Majesty, this is a royal parrot. It seems quite ignorant. Should it not be educated?" The king suddenly sat up, started thinking, "Educated? Ah, what a fine idea. The parrot must be wise, learned, full of knowledge," he commanded. And just like that, a new royal project began. The education of the parrot began. The ministers bowed deeply and promised, "Leave it to us, Your Majesty. We shall make this parrot the most learned creature in this kingdom." Committees were immediately formed. Clerks and scribes filled the palace halls with papers and plans. Learned scholars arrived with armful of books. The first question was, of course, where should the parrot be taught? Someone suggested, "Let us build a grand cage, a royal school for the royal bird." And so a cage was built, but not an ordinary one. It gleamed with gold. Its bars were polished till they shone like mirrors. The floor was carpeted. Flowers hung from all corners. The king inspected it, nodded in delight. "Yes," he said proudly, "this is the true education. Golden, beautiful, and expensive." The parrot's training began. Now came the pundits, scholars, with heavy robes, serious faces, and stacks of books. They looked at the parrot and said, "Poor fellow, so ignorant, so raw, we must fill him with the knowledge." So they began reading day after day, book after book. They read aloud long verses, wise sayings, rules of the grammar, moral codes, and endless scriptures. And what about the parrot? It blinked, tilted its head, chirped softly, but the pundits frowned. "Silence," they said, "this is not the singing class. Pay attention." The parrot, confused and got frightened, fluttered its wings. The ministers gasped. "How undisciplined!" they cried. The chief minister came immediately and he ordered, "Clip its wings. Otherwise it will fly away before finishing its education." And so the parrot's wings were cut. Its freedom was gone, its sky was gone, but the education, of course, continued. The pundits kept pouring words into its ears. Sometimes they would push grains of letters and bits of paper into its beak. "Eat knowledge," they said. The parrot stopped singing. It sat quietly, day after day, memorizing sounds it did not understand. Its eyes lost their sparkle. Its feathers grew dull, but the ministers were delighted. "Look how obedient it has become," they said. "Before, it used to flutter and chatter. Now it sits still and silent, truly the mark of an educated being. The king was pleased beyond measure. Splendid. You have done excellent works. Let us have an inspection soon. Immediately, a grand royal inspection was arranged. The day arrived. The king himself came with the entire court, soldiers, scribes, ministers, scholars, everybody. Trumpets sounded, drums rolled. The golden cage was brought before the throne. Inside, the parrot sat motionless, neat, polished, and utterly silent. The chief minister bowed and said, Your Majesty, our humble efforts have borne fruit. The parrot has mastered all scriptures. Wonderful, said the king. Let me test it. The pandits gave the cage a gentle tap. Speak, O learned one, speak, O learned one, they said. The parrot opened its beak. Out came a dry, lifeless sound, like the creak of an old door. The pandit clasped their hands. How melodious! How well trained! The king smiled proudly. Excellent. Let this model be followed in all the schools in our kingdom. Every student should be disciplined as this parrot. Everyone bowed. The air was filled with praise. The silence that followed. Days passed. Weeks passed. The parrot no longer moved. It no longer made a sound. When the attendants called, it did not answer. Perhaps it is meditating, said the scholars, a sign of deep wisdom. But one morning, a small servant boy, while cleaning the cage, whispered, The parrot is not breathing at all. The news spread in hushed tones. The minister rushed to the king. Your Majesty, there is a slight unfortunate matter. The king frowned. What is it? The parrot, the learned parrot. It seems it has reached the highest stage of learning. What do you mean? King asked. It has become perfectly still, perfectly silent. In short, it is dead. For a moment there was silence in the royal court. Then the chief minister bowed and said, Your Majesty, do not be upset. Do not be sad. This is not the death. It is the culmination of education. The parrot has become pure knowledge itself. The king nodded gravely. Indeed, a true scholar never makes noise. And they all praised the success of the education system, the education that it ended life itself. What's the moral of the story? The story is so simple and yet so haunting. The parrot is not just a bird. It is every child, every student whose curiosity, imagination, and joy are clipped away in the name of discipline and rote learning. Who are the ministers? The ministers represent the system, busy making rules, writing reports, building structures, decorating cages, while forgetting the heart of the education. And who is the king? He stands for authority, proud of appearances and blind to truth. Tagore, through this little parable, screams a warning. When education forgets life, it becomes death. Real education, he believed, is not about filling the mind. It is about awakening it. It's not about obedience. It's about freedom. It's not about memorizing books. It's about experiencing the truth. That is why at Shantiniketan, Tagore made sure the children studied under trees, painted, sang, played, because he knew that a bird must fly to be alive. So the next time we see the students silent, afraid, crushed under expectations, remember the parrot in the golden cage. The cage was beautiful. The education was expensive. The bird was dead. Tagore's voice still whispers to us across time, across generations. Do not clip the wings of a learner. Let knowledge be the wind that helps them soar. And that brings us to the end of this timeless story of Rabindranath Tagore. Even today, more than a century later, his words still speak to us, reminding us that the true learning is not about cages and commands, but about freedom, curiosity, and the courage to think. In this story touched you, take a moment to reflect. Are we nurturing wings or clipping them? Thank you for listening the story. If you enjoyed this narration, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories from India's great literary heritage, tales that never fade, and voices that continue to guide us towards the light. Thank you, all of you.